everyone, and welcome to the Bold and Beautiful podcast. I'm your host, Amanda, and I've titled this week's episode, Emma Barber, Rest in Peace. Before we get started, I want to give you a quick update on my brother. His surgery went really well, and he is doing good. He just got out of the hospital, and he is at home recovering. It's going to be a very long recovery, so I am helping my sister-in-law out as much as possible. So thank you for your positive vibes and prayers that you sent my way. I really appreciate them. I just wanted to give you guys an update and let you know. I have some comments that I want to read that I did not get to read last week. So let's get into our comments. FYI, both of these comments are referring to the episode Fatal Attraction with Chelsea as our co-host. The first comment comes from Leslie M. She says, I'm listening now and I have a question. How sure are we that Caroline died of natural causes? The way Thomas is all crazy, it's totally believable that he may have a part in it. I could not agree more, Leslie. I've been saying Liam or someone needs to investigate Thomas's story because I also don't believe they weren't a couple. I think they were a couple. I think he's saying that now because it would look pretty bad on him if he immediately starts going after Hope when he was just with Caroline. I couldn't agree more. I would like some investigation done. I would like to know more about what happened in New York because when he left, he came back a completely different person. Our next comment comes from MK, and there's some definite foreshadowing in this comment. So MK says, what a great episode. I had so much fun listening to it. You gals were hilarious. I hope Chelsea can come back for more guest hosting. It was a blast. I am so done with this storyline. I'm ready for this to be over. Hopefully someone will die this week or next and we can be done. I think Thomas will kill Xander to keep quiet, and that will shock Zoe into telling everything. After all, she is obsessed with him and crossed continents to follow him and be with him. Or maybe Reese will die off screen and Zoe will tell everything. I had forgotten Flo had taken that money. For her to act all innocent is infuriating. She took the money and has not even told her mom about the money from what I remember. She pretends she can't keep this secret, but goes on and on keeping it. The number of people on this show who know and are keeping quiet is getting absurd. I could not agree more. I can't wait for this story to be done, for Hope to have her baby back. I want to see Steffi be strong, but also see her emotional scenes. I love the actress. I like Steffi and Liam together, but I wish for now Steffi just stays single and strong. Let Liam beg for her to be his like he did when she was married to Wyatt. Really good points. I totally agree and thank you for your comment, MK. It's greatly appreciated. If you would like to leave me a comment, you can get in touch with me at theboldandbeautifulpodcast.com. I am also on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. You can get in touch with me any of those ways. You can also email me at amanda@theboldandbeautifulpodcast.com. I love to hear from you guys. I love to read your comments. So keep them coming. One more thing. If you listen on iTunes, please give me a 5-star rating. It greatly helps the podcast to be seen by more people. And it also helps on the business end. I do not have any news for this week. So enough with the chit chat. Let's get to the recap. So that brings us into Monday, June the 24th. The show opens with Emma in her car. Emma has gotten in a horrible car wreck. She has driven her car. She lost control and drove her car off the side of the road down a really steep cliff. So Thomas is standing at the edge of the road looking down the cliff, I think, to see if he sees any movement, to see if she is trying to get out or how bad it is. And he doesn't even call 911. He just gets in his car and heads straight over to the cabin to see Hope. And get this, he just walks in. He doesn't even knock. He just walks in. I was like, rude. He scared her because she wasn't expecting anyone. And he's like, oh, I thought you said come in. And she's like, no. So one thing I thought was funny is that they're playing scary horror music in the background. And I liked that. I thought it was pretty funny, actually. So once again, Thomas starts to push Hope. He's trying to push her into being with him. And he tells her he'll wait for her and he'll do anything to protect their dream of having a family. Psycho. I'm like, did I miss something? Because when did Hope ever say her dream was to have a family with Thomas? Whatever. Now we head over to Il Giardino's with Brooke and Bill. They ran into each other and they both sit down at the bar. And Bill can tell that something's bothering Brooke, so she tells him everything. She tells him she's really worried about Hope because she doesn't trust Thomas or his intentions. And once she explains everything, Bill is not happy that Thomas is actively going against Liam. Brooke admits that she has to be really careful about what she says around Ridge. Then they start talking about how Thomas is not the most stable person in the world. And Brooke proceeds to make this list, right, of things that Thomas has done. So to remind Bill, I guess. So Thomas set fire to Rick's house. He blew up Rick's car, then threw him through a window. Also, he took advantage of Caroline, which created Douglas. And these are all very good points that Brooke is making. Then, Bill gets a really sad call from Justin. He finds out that Emma has died in a car crash. So we know for sure now she did not make it. And she was very close to Brooke's house. So of course, they're best friends. Bill has to leave to go be with Justin. Brooke is devastated and she calls Pam and Hope to tell them the news. By the way, Justin was very, very devastated when he made the phone call. It was very sad to watch. Now we head over to Forrester with the three Stooges, Zoe, Xander, and Flo. Zoe and Xander inform Flo that Emma knows the truth and that she's on her way to tell Hope right now. Zoe hopes that Thomas gets to her first. Be careful what you wish for, Zoe, okay? Then Pam comes into the office to inform them that she just heard from Brooke and Emma died in a horrible car accident near Brooke's house. And poor Pam is very, very upset. She tells them that she just saw Emma and Emma was with Thomas and it looked like they were arguing. And then Pam leaves to go tell everyone else at the office. And Xander immediately thinks Thomas did it. And he tells Flo and Zoe, and they're all freaked out. Now we head back over to the cabin with Hope and Thomas, and Hope gets Brooke's call, and she's super upset because she was very close to Emma. Oh, of course, Thomas acts all surprised when Hope tells him. Poor Hope, she is just in shock. Like, it's one thing after another. Oh, but don't worry, guys. Thomas is there to hold her. Of course he is. Gross. I'm nauseous now. And that's how Monday ends. So that brings us into Tuesday. The show opens at Brooke's house with Ridge and Brooke. Ridge is upset about Emma. So is Brooke. Then they start talking about Hope. And Brooke is very worried about how Hope will react to another loss. Ridge suggests that Thomas can be a shoulder for her to cry on. Oh, isn't that not sweet? Brooke doesn't like that suggestion at all. So Ridge wants to go ahead and have it out with Brooke about their kids. Brooke tells Ridge she thinks Thomas needs mental help. And I was like, ooh, girl. Oh. But Ridge shuts her down. He doesn't agree. He thinks Thomas is doing great and would be really good for Hope. Open your eyes, Ridge. Open your eyes. I guess that shows how observant Ridge is as a father, right? Back at the cabin with Thomas and Hope, Thomas has already been thinking things through in his mind, right? So when Hope is like, I can't believe this happened. How could this happen? Thomas already has some ideas of what he should say. So he's like, how old is her car? Maybe it needed to be serviced. And Hope says, you know what? Her uncle has money. She had a nice car. I don't think so. And Thomas says, well, what else could it be? And Hope is like, well, maybe she was going somewhere in a hurry and she was driving too fast. And then Thomas, which, oh, God, I can't take it much longer. Thomas is like, oh, well, I guess we'll never know, will we? Then Thomas offers to sleep on the sofa and stay with Hope all night. And Hope's like, no, thanks, I'm good. Thomas just cannot take a hint. He just keeps on pushing and pushing and pushing Hope. I promise I will do anything for you. I'll be there for you always. It's like, stop, man. God, I'm getting sick. It's like, enough. Then he says, we've all done things we regret. And Hope is like, what are you talking about? What do you mean? And then he proceeds to tell her, well, Emma didn't like me very much. And Hope is like, that doesn't sound like Emma. And he says, oh, well, we just had a difference of opinion on a lot of things. And then he tells Hope, don't worry though, because there's nothing I wouldn't do for you, Hope. And I'm like, creepy. So Thomas leaves and Hope heads up to the big house to see her mom. So Brooke, of course, is being motherly and taking care of Hope and making phone calls. And Pam shows up with Emma's things from work. Pam tells them that Thomas and Emma were fighting at work right before Emma left. And that she had just saw her. And that she thought the whole thing was kind of weird because Emma left in a real big hurry and Thomas ran after her. And then he left right after her anyway. So she thought the whole thing was weird because it seemed like Thomas did not want Emma to leave, but that she really wanted to leave. And Hope is like, are you sure? Because I was with him and he didn't even mention anything. And of course, now Brooke's spidey senses are up, right? Now she's like, okay, what is happening? This is weird. I didn't even know Thomas knew Emma. So Pam says, well, you know what? Maybe he's in shock. Maybe he feels bad. You know, you get in a fight with someone and then they die. I mean, maybe he just feels bad. Maybe he's in shock. And they're like, huh, maybe. Now we head over to Forrester with the Three Stooges, Zoe, Flo, and Xander. Zoe refuses to believe that Thomas would do such a horrible thing. She just does not believe that he would hurt Emma. But Xander and Flo both think that Thomas had something to do with it. Zoe refuses to believe the theory though. She's just adamant that there's no way. But Flo insists that there is something wrong with Thomas and they all know it. Thomas thinks he's in love, but it's not real. Flo and Xander think that Zoe is just being naive. Then someone knocks on the door and guess what? It's Thomas. Xander asks him straight out if he killed Emma. And he tries to deny it. He acts shocked, and he's like, I was just with Hope. What are you talking about? So he tells them that he could not get through to Emma. So he went straight to Hope, thinking that he could tell Hope the truth first before Emma. That way he can spin the truth to make it seem less bad for all of them, right? Again, he's being super selfish. He's saying that because he thinks that that's gonna make them like, oh, Thomas, you're so sweet. You went there to help us. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. Flo and Xander are not buying it. They are not buying his story. They're like, Emma left first. How did you beat her to Hope's? Then he claims that he knows shortcuts in the hills. He assures them that Hope still knows nothing about Beth, so not to worry, their secret's safe. Once again, SOS. SOS. Flo and Xander want to tell the truth, but of course, Zoe and Thomas won't let them. Thomas tells them that they better stop talking about Beth in the office. He tries to say, look, fate, it's fate. Fate kept the secret from coming out, and Xander's like, that's bull, okay? That's just straight up BS. So then he basically threatens them, and he's like, if the truth comes out, you all will go to jail, and I will lose Hope forever, and there's no way I will let that happen. And that's how Tuesday ends. They are really upsetting me, okay? The Three Stooges are really upsetting me. They clearly can see that this guy is over the line. Like, he is over the edge and not safe for Hope to be around. Okay? And yet they still don't say anything. So they deserve what they get. So that brings us into Wednesday. The show opens at Forrester with everyone. We're having a memorial for Emma. And everyone's there. Quinn and Eric, Xander, Zoe, Pam, Flo, Donna, Thomas, Steffi, Ridge, Justin, Bill, Brooke, Hope, Tiffany. The only people who are not there, Shauna is not there, Katie is not there because Will is sick, and Liam is not there because he's with the girls. Everyone else is pretty much there. I did not see Charlie. So they're having a memorial, and Justin tells Eric, thank you for giving Emma a chance at Forrester. They're all saying very lovely things about Emma. Believe it or not, Thomas is actually feeling a tiny, tiny bit of guilt. And everyone is in different little groups and they're all talking together and it's going back and forth. And I'm not going to write every single thing down. It's the same things that you can imagine someone would say at a memorial. They all loved her, so it's all very nice things. The Three Stooges, Zoe, Flo, and Xander, want to talk to Thomas in private, but he doesn't really want to talk to them. He kind of brushes them off. Everyone's walking around and they're all saying beautiful things, and poor Tiffany, who was Emma's best friend, is really upset. Hope and Justin are also very upset, and it was just really, really sad to watch. Then we learn from Justin that the police are still investigating the accident because there was evidence that was left at the scene that might explain what happened. They found Emma's phone, and she was in the middle of texting Hope. So they think maybe Emma was texting and that's what caused the wreck. And Emma was texting Hope because she was on her way to see her. So she was on her way to Hope's house. And Hope did not know, so of course she was surprised to hear this news. Well, the Three Stooges and Thomas, of course, were not surprised. But Thomas is getting a little nervous. What else will they find in the accident? The next part is probably going to make a lot of people aggravated. I apologize in advance. We head over to Wyatt's house with Wyatt and Sally. So Wyatt called Sally over to talk to her. He wants to explain what's going on with his relationship with Flo. So Sally explains to Wyatt how she understands why Wyatt had to see if there was something there with Flo. And she gave him the time and the space, and she begs him to forgive her and give her another chance because they were in love and they had a great life. I was heartbroken for Sally. So Wyatt explains that since they have been apart, his feelings have changed and his future is with Flo now. And I'm like, WTF? What? Poor Sally was crying and just completely heartbroken. But she tells him straight up, one day you will realize that I'm the one who got away. And there's no perfect woman. I'm not perfect. And neither is Flo. But I will always love you, Wyatt. And she's like crying, and it was just such a sad scene. A very sad scene. Back at Forrester, the memorial is winding down. People are starting to leave. So Hope and Brooke grab Thomas and talk to him in private because they want to know why Thomas was arguing with Emma. And of course, he knew this was coming, so he has an excuse already ready. Emma wanted to dance at the next fashion show, and he said no. So she was going to go over his head to Hope, and he didn't want to tell Hope at the time at the cabin because he thought it wasn't a good time to tell her. He thought it would be bad timing. And Brooke doesn't buy it. Her face just doesn't look like she buys it, but she gets a phone call, so she has to leave the office. And Thomas assures Hope that he tried to stop Emma, but he couldn't. And poor Hope is so upset. And of course, Thomas hugs her, and he's like, I'm here for you, don't worry, I'm here for you. What they don't realize is that Xander is standing at the door and he's watching this whole interaction between Hope and Thomas, and he does not like it. And that's how Wednesday ends. So that brings us into Thursday. The show opens at Steffi's house with Steffi and Liam. And they are throwing a family beach party. Liam is nervous about seeing Hope and Thomas. He tells Steffi that he's sorry, but he doesn't trust Thomas with Hope. He makes it clear that he's very worried about Hope and how all of this will affect her. Steffi tells him that this is what Hope wants and it's all about the girls. SOS. Over at Brooke's house with Hope and Brooke, Hope doesn't really want to go to the beach party because she's nervous about seeing Steffi and Liam together. But she's going for Douglas. Brooke tries once again to warn her about Thomas. And then Ridge walks in. And of course, he thinks it's a great idea for her to go to the party because it's Ridge. And Brooke thinks it's a bad idea for Hope to go to the party. Meanwhile, upstairs, Thomas is doing push-ups and posing in front of the mirror. He gets a call from a buddy, and he tells this person just to run it by the house. Then Douglas comes in, and he doesn't want to go to the party. I guess he's not up for it. But Thomas talks him into going because he has a plan, and that's painfully obvious. Next, he coaches Douglas that as soon as he sees Hope, to run to her and give her a huge hug and be extra cute. Wow. So they go downstairs and Douglas runs up to Hope and gives her a huge hug. And Brooke tells Hope again that she doesn't think it's a good idea for her to go to the party. But Ridge and Thomas talk her into going. Then Thomas's friend Vinny stops by, and apparently he's one of Thomas's old friends because Ridge and Brooke both know him. So Thomas and Vinny go outside together, and Thomas buys drugs from him. There's some kind of pills in a capsule. My guess is that they're some kind of Molly or ecstasy or something along those lines is what I'm guessing. So Hope, Thomas, and Douglas leave, and Brooke and Ridge decide to get in their swimsuits and go relax by the pool together. And they start discussing Thomas and Hope. Brooke feels that regardless of her opinion of Thomas, it's too soon for Hope to jump into another relationship. Ridge wants Brooke to give Thomas a break. He feels like Thomas may be good for Hope. Wow. Ridge is so out of touch with his own son. Ridge wants Brooke to leave the past in the past and stop being so hard on Thomas because he's doing good now. Ridge has convinced himself that Thomas is the best thing for Hope. Brooke doesn't say anything else. She kind of lets it go before it turns into a huge fight, but it's very clear that she does not agree. Ridge is killing me. Like, does he not know his son at all? Like, I just don't understand this. I feel like if your son left and came back and he was just totally different, granted, Ridge is not seeing all the crazy things he's doing, but you would think your dad would, like, pick up on some of the changes in you. Like, I'm surprised by that. Now we head over to Steffi's with Steffi and Liam. Hope, Thomas, and Douglas have arrived, and Liam is immediately annoyed by Thomas. He tells Steffi that it's so obvious what Thomas is doing, and that it's driving him crazy. And Steffi asks Liam to please let it go for today, because today is about the kids. Then Liam pulls Hope aside, and he tells her straight up that he does not trust Thomas, and he does not want her spending all of her time with him. Then they all come back together and they start chit-chatting, and Liam questions Thomas about Emma. And of course, he tells the same story that he told Hope and Brooke. I don't think Liam is buying it. Phoebe wakes up, so that, Liam doesn't have a chance to really say anything because Phoebe wakes up and Steffi goes to get her. Then Thomas whispers to Hope, but loud enough that Liam can hear, that he doesn't think she should spend too much time with Phoebe because it might not be healthy. This made me laugh because this really makes Liam angry and annoyed. And he's making like faces, right? He's standing behind them and Thomas is whispering to Hope and Liam is making all these faces like, can you believe this? I can't believe this guy. So of course, Liam is like upset and he basically says, excuse you, Hope can spend as much time with Phoebe as she wants. It's fine with me and it's fine with Steffi. And frankly, it's none of your business. So Thomas backs down a little. And Steffi comes back out and she hands Phoebe to Hope. And Hope is holding her and everybody's all smiles. And then Hope calls Phoebe Beth. And then she starts kind of freaking out. And that's how Thursday ends. So that brings us into Friday, the 28th. The show opens at Steffi's house, and Hope is holding Phoebe, but she has just called her Beth. And everyone is frozen. It's so silent, you could hear a pin drop. No one knows what to say or do, and Hope's freaking out. She's like, Beth, Beth. Beth. And it's really weird and really sad. And so Hope is like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And she hands the baby back to Steffi. She feels horrible and she apologizes multiple times. And Steffi assures her that it's okay. Now we head over to Wyatt with Wyatt and Flo. And we find out that Wyatt and Flo actually were invited to the beach party, but they have decided not to go. Wyatt is really happy to have Flo back in his life, and he's acting kind of nervous, and I'm like, what is going on? Then he says he wants to take their relationship to the next level. He wants her to move in with him. And he lets her know that he talked to Sally, and they're officially done. So now he's free to be with her. And I'm like, WTF, okay? I have whiplash from this relationship. What are you doing? You just got back together. What are you doing, Wyatt? This blows my mind. Then Shauna shows up and she just kind of walks in, which I thought was strange. But she shows up looking for Flo. And they inform her that they are moving in together because they both love each other. Flo says yes, of course, and they want to celebrate. So Wyatt leaves to go get champagne. While he's gone, Shauna tells Flo that she has decided to leave and go back to Vegas. She feels that it will be easier for Flo to keep the secret if she's gone, because every time they're together, they talk about it, and every time Flo sees her, it reminds Flo of the secret. So she thinks that it's best if she leaves, because she reminds Flo that it's very important for her to keep her mouth shut so she doesn't lose her new life. This kind of made me sad because I take it that Shauna is not going to be on here very much, if at all. So I thought from the article we read last week that she would be on here a while so that we would get to see Denise Richards a lot, but apparently not. So I'm not sure what's going on with that. Now we head back to Steffi's. Hope and Liam are talking in the kitchen in private, and Hope tells Liam the truth, that she's second guessing all of her decisions, even her decision to end their marriage. She regrets coming over because it's really hard to see him with Steffi. So she's just going to leave. But Liam stops her. He talks her out of leaving. He assures her that he will be there for her whenever she needs him, no matter what. So a little while later, Hope apologizes to Steffi again. But really, everyone just agrees that they want Hope to heal. So they talk and chit-chat and stuff. And a little while later, Thomas goes into the nursery with Steffi. Before he leaves, he tells Liam that he put his drink on the mantle for him. So while they're gone, Liam and Hope are chatting in the kitchen. She tells Liam that she will always love him. Then he tells her that he doesn't want her spending so much time with Thomas. So what they don't know is Thomas is eavesdropping, and he sneaks out of the nursery, and he's listening to this conversation, and it's making him angry. So he takes the pills, and he opens the capsule, and he pours the drugs into Liam's drink. So he does that really quick, and then he comes out, and he acts like he's cleaning up. And he grabs the drink, and he hands it to Liam. So of course, you're like, uh-oh. So Liam goes to take a sip and puts it down. And then he goes to take a sip and his phone goes off. And then Thomas is like every time getting like more and more annoyed because Liam's not drinking the drink. So finally, Liam picks up his drink, I think it was a margarita, and he starts drinking it. And then Thomas has this really evil look on his face. And he whispers to himself under his breath, "Goodbye, Liam." It was really creepy and freaky. And that's how Friday ends. So that brings us to the end of the week. Let's analyze this and break it down. Poor Emma. Can we just talk about Emma for a second? Poor Emma. First of all, can I trade in 3 interns for 1? Can I trade in 3 Stooges and keep Emma? Because I would if I could. So, Emma paid the ultimate price for going against Thomas. But what Thomas doesn't realize is that Xander loves Emma. If you remember, Xander didn't want to break up. She broke up with him because she was not ready to have sex. And she didn't think it was fair to him. I think Thomas is greatly underestimating Xander, for sure. And his love that he had for Emma. He is not going to just let this go. He thinks Thomas killed Emma, and I do not see him just letting it go. I do feel bad for Emma. They had a small memorial for her, even if you want to call it that. But she will be missed because I actually kind of liked Emma, to be honest. I really felt sorry for Justin because he was just so devastated. And I'm hoping they find some more evidence at the crime scene because I think maybe this will come into play to somehow make the truth come out. I'm not sure how, but I think it definitely will come back into play. Let's talk about Wyatt, Flo, and Sally. In the words of Ramona Singer from the Real Housewives of New York, wow. I mean, wow. That's just wow. This whole situation makes my head hurt. I don't understand how Wyatt can be so fickle and wishy-washy. He has never been a flip-flopper like Liam. Well, I guess it was bound to happen. Bill does it, Liam does it. I guess it was only a matter of time. I do have to say, I feel really bad for Sally because she does not deserve this. She made a mistake and she's extremely sorry for it. It probably would never happen again. And Wyatt just refuses to forgive her. And I just think it's absurd. Okay, lastly, let's talk about Crazy Pants Thomas. Just when I think Thomas cannot get any creepier, just when I think he's hit an all-time low with murder, for crying out loud, oh no. Now he does something even lower. He buys drugs, and now he's drugging Liam. His evilness knows no bounds, guys. No bounds. The fact that he contributed to Emma's death and didn't even at least call 911, that's cold. And I'm really getting scared now because there is obviously more wrong with Thomas than I had initially thought. I thought, you know what? Thomas is grieving Caroline. He's not thinking straight. He is behaving erratically. He needs some counseling. He needs some help. He's worried about his son. I was trying to somewhat rationalize the behavior to a certain extent. But now it's beyond that now. This behavior that he's exhibiting now, killing someone and not feeling bad about it, maybe a tiny bit, but not enough to say anything. Looking at Hope in the eye every day, knowing that he's lying to her face and that her baby's alive. All of this is psychopathic behavior, okay? He is a psychopath. He has no feelings for other people. And it is scaring the crap out of me because Hope is very vulnerable right now, just like Brooke keeps saying. And I don't want her to get any more hurt than she already is. I mean, how much more are we going to torture Hope? Even if you're not a Hope fan, you have to feel some sort of way about this because they're just straight up torturing her. I'm over it, guys. I'm over it. I don't know how much longer we are going to have to endure this torture, but I'm hoping that it will be over soon. Because like MK said, all of these people that know, it's just becoming absurd. Right? Like now it's just becoming absurd. Thomas is now just as guilty and just as culpable as the Three Stooges. Okay? Now, when the truth comes out, as far as I'm concerned, Thomas can go to jail too. He thinks he's gonna be completely off the hook if it comes out, but he's wrong. Because there's no way Liam is gonna let this go. He's already annoyed with Thomas as it is. There's no way Liam is just gonna be like, oh, you knew the whole time? Cool. No way. So, I cannot wait for the truth to come out. It's going to be so good. I can't wait. So that brings us to the end of the episode. And I wanted to let you guys know one thing really quick before I let you go. There will not be an episode next week. I have decided to take off for the 4th of July. I'll be back in 2 weeks and I'll do a double episode for both weeks. Unless the truth comes out. If the truth comes out, then I promise I will do an episode. I will just have to fit it in. I really, really appreciate you guys for understanding and for listening every week and for supporting me. It means so much to me. It really does. I hope you guys have a great, fun, and safe, happy 4th of July. I will be back in your ears in 2 weeks. Thank you again for listening. Until next time, bye guys.